Hello and welcome. Today I'm looking at Hand of Fate, a collectible card game slash RPG slash dungeon crawler thing that was kickstarted fairly recently for, I want to say it was about $50,000 it eventually got, or it wanted, I should say. PC only, I think, at least for now. Like I said, collectible card game, RPG. It's very cool. We'll top in here. There's a lot to this game. There's a lot to talk about. So I'll just jump in here. So these are all the. It's split up into what is effectively campaigns. I sort of see them as like almost like D&D campaigns in a way, like self-contained stories where that you play through, like they're all dungeons, and then you get to the boss at the end, and you kill the boss, and you move on. And in each one of these, as you play, you gain loot, you gain money. All that is scrapped, or the cards you get, I should say, are permanent. They go to your deck, but the loot you get per dungeon is like only for that dungeon. Once you complete that, you essentially get reset for the next dungeon, which is why I compare it to like D&D and stuff. So this is, as you can see, I'm on like the 7th one or something. Played for a couple of hours. We're just going to jump to the second one because it'll be quite a lot easier. So you can, there is obviously, like I said, it's a CCG, for those of you familiar with that, that concept, similar to, Magic the Gathering or Hearthstone or whatever. So I have control over, this is my deck, and these are cards that I have that will appear in the game. They get randomly doled out as you go on, and you can't really control exactly what you get. But you can at least control what you don't get. So I can say I don't want any of these. A lot of these will be repeats. There's multiple axes, multiple swords and stuff. So obviously I want the more interesting stuff, the more powerful stuff. So I can also control what encounters I come across, because the other half of the cards are encounters that that make up the dungeons, that make up the scenarios, or whatever you want to call them. So this is kind of the meat of the game. This is where a lot of the variation comes from, is just the sheer volume of encounters and scenarios that you come across. Think of it like FTL, if you played that, where you're constantly going across, obviously you're going all around the galaxy, coming across encounter to encounter, and they're all completely different, and there are multiple ways it can play out and stuff, and if you do it wrong you get punished, if you do it well you get rewarded, etc. So it's kind of like that. There's maybe elements of roguelikeness in this game, certainly in the fact that there's like permadeath and a lot of randomness. So as with my equipment, I could say, I don't want to have to deal with that many of the ratmen hunting.
Cannot be removed.
Oh, okay, I didn't realise that. They have to stay because they're part of the actual, the quote-unquote story of that, because that's about the Rat King or whatever. So I'll add the Field of Poppies. I don't know what that is. I'll take out Local Peasant and put in Desert Storm. So you can do that yourself, or you can just let the AI do it. I like to have an idea of what I'm getting myself in for, but it's up to you really. It doesn't really matter.
Do you understand what it is we do?
So the overall premise of this is that
rush you through the rules?
you're some kind of unnamed character. I don't really know who you are exactly, but you're like being forced to play this guy's game. He calls it his game. He's like the card master or whatever, and he will constantly narrate everything you're doing. So this is the sort of dungeon. You can reveal what these cards actually are, but otherwise you just have to go. So you come across these encounters, Helpful Priest, and he will he'll commentate what you're doing. He'll give it some flavor text, which adds to a lot of the atmosphere in this game, which I think is really well done. So this is one of the encounters. You meet a wandering priest who greets you in a friendly manner. For a small share, okay, right, I'm familiar with this one. I have to give him he wants half my food. He'll give me a pretty powerful buff. So you see at the bottom left, I have three stats, or 3 things to keep track of. I have my health, which is persistent, my food, and my gold. Obviously my gold is earned through doing quests, killing stuff, getting loot, etc. That is obviously spent whenever you come across a shop, which you'll come across multiple merchants and then types of merchants, sorry. And you got your food, which every time you move to another encounter, you lose 1 food. That takes up 1 food, so you have to sort of keep that as like a resource to maintain. So we'll give this guy the food because he gives us pretty good buffs. So
choose from these options.
You kind of got these. You get these a lot. There's sort of an element of randomness, whether you can control it.
I made that
you can.
too
I
will
skipped
have to
that.
rebalance that next.
I didn't read what that actually was. Embertown Hero. Okay, you come across an injured adventurer who's battered and bloody armor. Let's give struggles. Okay, so a lot of these cards I have done before because, you know, they're all from a limited deck, so there's only so many you can do.
Your food runs short. This does not bode well.
It does. So, you know, you will get a lot of repeats, but there are so many. Certainly later on, there are just so many cards that you can get.
Nothing more than the chance to see how
okay,
you
refuse to deal with receiving scum. Yeah, we'll do that. That was the continuation of the other card. But yeah. So this is the other half of the game. This is what makes this game a lot more interesting. Is that whenever you get an encounter, it just becomes like a third-person action game, and you have to just do the encounter, which is a really interesting concept, and it's what makes this game a lot more appealing to me. Because otherwise, you know, it would just be like a stylish and solid CCG or whatever. So the combat, interesting as it is, I really, it's the weakest part of this game. I think I really do think that, you know, everything else, the voice acting is fantastic, the presentation and the encounters, the writing, it's all fantastic, it's all really well done. But then the combat is just, it's clunky, it's janky, it effectively looks like the Batman combat, or, you know, Shadow Mordor, you know, whichever you're more familiar with, where you're like dodging and you're constantly going from enemy to enemy, and you see that there's like the Batman style
I'm sure you're grateful for that.
Counter and block and stuff like that. If you get a shield, you can do that. You can counter them. So it is the Batman combat, but really janky, really clunky. So I don't hate the combat. I don't think it's something of a chore to do, but I think it's serviceable for what this game is. Since the meat of this game is the card part, you know, this part of it is the meat of the game, and this is done so well that I can kind of forgive the game for having slightly, you know, sloppy action, so to speak, because
finally an opportunity,
it's in service of a much more enjoyable experience. So okay, so we've come across one of these merchants, which is great because we can buy food because we really need it. Because you probably saw that he's only selling it in one. You saw that because I had one no food left. Every time I was making a new turn, I was losing 10 HP. So okay, we've got a few more pieces of food now. So usually they sell them in bigger stacks, but I guess they didn't for whatever reason. Mr. Lionel, okay. Whilst enjoying your evening meal at the local tavern, a strange old man takes the seat next to yours. He taps your shoulder quite painfully with his wooden staff to get your attention, and you notice that he appears to be a goblin poorly disguised as a human. His wizened face grins at you with a hint of sadness. My name is Mr. Lionel. If you give me what I need, boy. What do you need? I've done this one quite a lot. This is like one of the first ones you get. Draw one equipment card. Enjoying.
Move quickly from here. There is little material gain to be made.
Alright. So a lot of the that's the way you draw a lot of the cards. If you essentially succeed, if you do it right, you know, the quote unquote right way. Sometimes there isn't really a right way. Sometimes it just goes very badly. But if you do sort of win the encounter, so to speak, it'll usually allow you to
the final floor.
draw from your deck, which is
Perhaps
what
this time
I was
you'll
building
find
before I
the
started this.
Jack of
So from that, I drew an equipment card, which gave me one of the helmets that I had in there, which had like movement speed and stuff on it. So it's all random. You have some control of what you get by what you put in your deck, but it is random as to what you actually get, which is kind of par for the course for these sort of games, I guess. Alright, so we got another combat encounter, so I really like the style of this. Like, even in the combat, I think the game looks pretty nice, especially considering it's on a budget. Like, there's some really nice art. I think this is a really cool effect, the whole getting one card each and being equipped by the cards, but I just... Like, that's me, you see you get like Batman prompts to like counter, and just like jumping between different enemies to block, to counter and to jump between them and maintain your combo and stuff, and that red prompt means that they can't be blocked, so I should actually be taking out the ranged ones there, because they're a lot harder to deal with. Also, you do want to be sure to take as little damage as possible, because it is persistent. I will carry that health over into the next like encounter or whatever, so I can actually deflect the ranged attacks, but it's a lot more time and focus than the melee counters. And they've got poison, so they're giving me like damage over time stuff. So I just, yeah, like I said, like, oh wow, that is making me go first. Oh shit, it's my helmet that I got. So I really just think it's the weakest part. Like, I don't think it's bad enough to bring the whole game down, because I've heard this said before, but this game really is the whole sum of its parts, because you know the CCG stuff's really well done, the RPG stuff's really well done, the presentation's fantastic, the music, the voice acting, like I said, the visuals, it's all really well done. But then the combat is just a bit clunky, like not clunky enough to be frustrating. I found, like, it doesn't look great and it doesn't feel great and it doesn't really flow like that kind of Batman combat has to do well, but it's noticeably bad, especially compared to the other stuff, to where it can get a little tedious. But because the meat of the game is this you know, the RPG stuff, the card stuff, it's not bad enough to put me off playing the whole game. Just because, but I mean, if the rest of the stuff wasn't as good as it was, then the combat probably would put me off a bit more. But and also, in a weird way, I kind of like.
This token will unlock more cards if you can.
I kind of like
encounter.
Getting the combat encounters, because I feel like it gives me more control over my like success and over how I'm doing, because you haven't really seen it here because I haven't really had too many unlucky ones. Actually, this is a really quite a weird scenario, because this can go horribly wrong for you. But there are some cards that they will just fuck you over. Like, you just got really unlucky and you got a really unfortunate set of encounters in one dungeon and you came out with no health or whatever. Whereas when you go into the combat, because the combat it's fairly easy, it's fairly simple, it's not exactly hard. I feel like when I go into a combat counter, I'm pretty sure I'm gonna win. So I feel like I have more direct control than I do with the card stuff, which is nice, but again, the combat is just really not great. So we're going to the Devil's Carnival. Oh boy. The worst stuff is when you get the... ah, boy. Oh, nice. Didn't know I actually had a chance to do that. I think that was a huge... oh, fuck! I'm so bad at following that. It's the worst stuff is when you get the huge failures, because they really fuck with you. Okay, I'm going to try and follow that huge success, but... oh my god! Oh, I confirmed it, I'm an idiot. A brink is placed in between you. The barkeep moves away to other customers, but seems to be not choosing because you may place something down.
You meet the Jack again. Did you think him done before? Shuffled back into the deck to write.
I'm still not convinced that that you can even follow that, like the huge failure success stuff, but I think you can. But I feel like I've followed it to where I think I'm right, but then it's give me a huge failure or a failure or whatever. So it might be partially random. I'm not sure. Or it might be completely random. I really don't know. I don't think the combat looks particularly bad. I don't think this part of the game looks especially bad, but some of the animations are real janky to where kind of lets down the rest of the game's presentation. So there is, you know, it's not to say that the combat is without merit, because there is like a layer of depth here that you can. Oh well, I'm just trying to get away so I can talk. Well, you can appreciate, like, you can shield bash to knock them down while they're doing an ability that isn't counterable. You can get like artifacts, which are like things you activate for one fight, one encounter, that will give you various buffs and boosts and special effects and stuff, which are pretty interesting. You know, if you get a decent weapon, you can get sorry, I really don't want to know here. There we go. If you die, you get reset to the start of the dungeon, so I really don't want to do that. The whole dungeon, not just this floor. Yeah, you can get weapons with an armor with special effects, like you get ones that slow, weapons that slow or whatever, so I'm really hoping I heal or something. Okay, no, so I have 14 food.
A small benefit. I will not be so graceful for long.
Oh boy. Oh, traveling healer, this guy can heal me. Okay, nice. The resource management is probably one of the hardest bits. Like, it's easy to get screwed by running out of food. I got lucky there because I just got plus 10 food from that one encounter, but it's very easy to... Oh, I don't have any gold. Shit. Oh boy. Nope, I don't need... I'm just going to have to deal with it. The curse is there instead of remove curse. Later on you get... This is like the second dungeon or whatever, so... Doesn't really... Oh, we're at the bottom.
I wonder how it must be for you to look upon the cold grave that is all human ending. What tale will they tell? I really like the flavor text that they give to a lot of these bosses and a lot of these encounters. And none recall.
It's really well done.
Tales.
Oh boy. But yeah, sorry, the curses are ones that you get later. Like you sometimes get curses that will afflict you throughout the whole dungeon or whatever, and they can affect all sorts of things. And you know, as the name implies, they're never good. They're always bad. But you know, you can pay a large sum of money to get rid of them. I've never been able to afford that. It's like always several hundred gold. I found that early on I never really got much gold, but that definitely changed when you get deeper in. You start getting into the hundreds and into the you know, into the high hundreds and stuff, which allows you to afford a lot more of the more interesting gears. So initially, when I found out that each dungeon is like self-contained or whatever, and that whenever you come out you lose all your shit, all your loot and money and stuff, I was a bit disheartened, because obviously it feels like you're not really gaining anything, but you are gaining cards, which, you know, they can be items or they can be encounters or whatever, so you are gaining stuff, you know. It's just not necessarily like gold or whatever. So the combat's not that tricky. Yeah, it's easy to get overwhelmed or whatever. And some of these bosses have like abilities or whatever that are a bit of a nuisance to deal with. Okay, so he's dead. So now we should clear the rest of the enemies, but this part of the game definitely feels like more of a chore than something to kind of look forward to or whatever. Okay, nice, we did it. And then we grab the card, and we're all surprised. And I look fucked.
Ah, yeah. Well done. Well done indeed.
Okay, so we've already done that one, so I don't think we'll get rewarded. Or maybe we will, I don't know.
Shall we?
Okay, no, you don't get rewarded for redoing them, I guess, actually.
I'm beginning to admire your methods, brutal as they are.
We'll take a look at another campaign here. We'll take a look at a later one. Try that one. So that's one of the curses. You see, the player loses 5 gold every time they fail, or 10 gold every time they get a huge fail. Which is
a little mouse?
It's pretty scary because they're quite common. So. And gold is obviously quite important. So, you know, I was saying before that, you know, this game is more than just the sum of its parts, because I definitely think that's true. In that, this one's a simple one. We should have to fight the goblins. Because, you know, you look at these individual parts, like the presentation and all that is fantastic, the card building is really well done, but then the combat kind of sucks. It's not great. So if you were to look at it individually, the game wouldn't be that great. But I feel like the way that all these things sort of, we have to go like golden axe on these fuckers and just like get our money back. The way that they all sort of, you know, work together and, you know, form to create this like cohesive, like role playing game is what makes this game so good. So that's what makes this game so strong, I should say. Okay, so is it one there is? It's because those features, those parts work together so well, and not just because the individual parts are so good. Because, like I said, you know, on their own, or it's just the combat that doesn't hold up on its own. The rest of it's pretty good, but there is a lot of depth here, more than it might seem, with the sheer volume of cards. Okay, this is an interesting one. So we go into a cave here, and we just have to essentially dodge all these traps, which is interesting. They're like encounters that don't require combat. Oh no, I did it wrong. I'm doing a really great job. Yeah, the sheer volume of... Oh god, I'm doing so bad. Just the sheer volume of cards. The sheer volume of encounters and gear, and... Oh my god, I'm doing so bad. Makes this... Oh, wow. I just lost so much health there. Makes this a lot more interesting. Because when I was playing this earlier, I kind of thought, like, I'm really enjoying this, but I was definitely getting a lot of repeat encounters, which obviously happens a lot early on because you don't have that many cards, but, you know, getting a lot of the same encounters and in the same order as well, I found, which seemed a bit weird, but that was all just by chance, I guess. But that obviously changes as you get more cards and as the deck gets much bigger and more varied. You get more interesting encounters, you get less repeats and stuff. So, this great hero fell defending our beloved town. His sword and shield are powerful artifacts. Okay, yeah. Alright, okay. I got this one before, and you essentially get his
and turn them into
sword. Wow, his sword and shield to later give to his. Oh,
I appreciate your ingenuity. I look forward to seeing how you approach this particular challenge.
That curse is such a fucker. Curse, but
oh well. This is the fate of heroes.
Okay, let's do it. Let's give it back. Two blessing cards. So I could have kept that sword and shield for myself because they are pretty powerful and they're better than what I had, or I can give back and I get. You'll be fully healed next time you're half dead. Okay, that's nice. On any hit, the player inflicts 2 more damage. Okay, cool.
The token is yours. Let us see what you do with your newfound abilities.
Alright. So there are a lot of those, like, choices. A lot of them fairly black and white. It's nothing too deep. But some of the encounters can be a bit tricky. It's kind of hard to figure out which is
the world is
the right thing to do. You know?
And us men and women merely players. I alone do not play.
So yeah, like I said, like some of his flavor tastes, I really like it. I really like the voice actor. The sort of commentary he gives is really good stuff. What do we want? So we can ask for more max health, more food, more gold, or both. I'm gonna get more gold. Alright, so she gives us 15, she gives us 25, and she gives us 30. Wow. Okay. Stuff. Obviously you do want enough food to keep going. Okay, now do we want to... Yeah, we'll just keep going to the next floor. You could turn around, but it's kind of a waste of food at some point.
Your memories tattered and torn, formed into mere cards for us to play with.
I'm not sure which this is. In a shabby grove off the beaten trail, you find a travelling merchant looking to trade with wandering adventures. Okay, so this is just a shop. I think all of those like grey cards are shops. Tired. Okay, remove curse. Can I afford any of them? Okay. Oh, I think the other curse that I got was removed by me completing that quest, which is nice. Buy blessings. Any hit on the player during combat has a chance to poison the attacker. At the beginning of every battle, older gods throw down a number of down to the number on your. Oh wow, okay. I'm gonna get that one. That sounds useful. That sounds like it'll just do damage to everyone.
Too good for the likes of you.
Okay. Angry. Oh, this one's a fucker. This one.
And earn their
This one's always bad. I can give them half my food. I'm going to try and avoid them. Run. Oh boy. Okay, we're going to try and get a success. Alright, yes. Whew. Oh, poor peasants. I'm not going to give you my food. Devil's choice.
Though I admire his ilk, I live by very different rules.
I made Sessuite circle here. Choose your foe. Okay, we'll try that one. Okay, fair enough. I don't know what that red dot means. That might mean it's harder than usual or something. I don't know. So. Oh, cool. Did that just kill him? It did, didn't it? There doesn't seem to be any benefit to keeping up a combo. It's not like in Batman where you get to a certain threshold and you can activate abilities or whatever. Or certainly not yet anyway, maybe that's later down the line. Excellent, you've passed my cunning test. I have some treasure. Okay, cool. So that we can pick one of our things up from our deck. That's always nice.
Are you sure that's the right approach?
Food and wow, 10 food. Shit. It's always nice when it's always nice when you got like 20 odd food. Because it's just something you don't even need to worry about at that point.
The Jack of Plague has battered you once. Can you set him free this time?
We don't really have any money, so we'll just skip it. There's not much point going to it. We'll skip that as well because you need.
That's outstanding.
You need 10 gold, so we can't even do that. It's annoying that because I had that twice, and both times I couldn't afford it, so I don't really know what. I guess it's a simple one. We should have to kill them. So I don't really know what the loan gives you or what happens if you do invest in it. Alright. So like, you know, parts of this look kind of janky, like visually I mean, but you know, I like the art and I think they did quite well with the art style. I think, you know, some of these weather effects look quite nice, you know. I hesitate to say the combat is unnecessary because I think it's what gives this game a lot of its unique sort of like flavour that a lot of these kind of games don't have, purely because they don't have, you know, they're just purely card games. And I think if it didn't have this element to it, this game wouldn't be getting nearly as much attention, purely because it would just be like, oh, yeah, another, you know, good and well-made card game or whatever, but it would just be a card game, so... I don't know if I'd even be playing it if it was just the card game. So this gives it a nice, nice edge to it that most of... I just got healed on them awful. That these games don't have, so... Even if it's not executed 100%, you know, I like... Yeah, you know, it's nice that they went for it. And if there's one way to describe that combat, I would just say it's kind of a chore. Like, it eventually feels like a chore, but it's so... It's not... No, easy's not the right word, but it's so, like... you know, non-challenging that you can kind of just...
Our old friend the Jack
you kind of just blast through it.
Returns to fight another day.
Oh, okay, so I got like a mini boss card. Again, like I really like the presentation. I really like this bit. I like that idea. That each card is like a piece of equipment being given to him. See, you have no control over your character. You know, you don't name them. You don't create a character. You don't pick anything. This is just a generic sort of guy. I don't think you have a character that you seem to be a guy playing this guy's card game or whatever, but you're never given a name or anything. So. Where I am at the moment, you probably saw I was on like this like 7th. That red thing means we can't counter it, so we can have to dodge. I'm on like the 7th thing, so it's getting kind of difficult now. Both the combat and the card stuff's getting pretty difficult, and you know, managing resources and stuff. To where I have died a couple of times on the one I'm on at the moment. And that, like I said, that will reset your entire progress for that dungeon, so that can be a bit of a nightmare.
Even with the queen now dispatched.
I haven't done this one. I don't know what
There's a token in it for you if you win.
Traveling through a desert, when a dust storm approaches, you may be able to reach the safety of some nearby hills. Run for the hills. If we get that huge failure, we're gonna be fucked. Alright, nice. Whew. You reach cells just as dust storm arrives. Okay, so I'm not entirely sure what it means by that. By the token is yours. I don't really know. That happens every time you like beat an encounter effectively, or you know, get the positive outcome or whatever. Okay. There seems to be a nice variation in the kind of like the arenas or whatever that you're fighting in. Like there are plenty of different places. Like we're on some sort of hill. There's like a mountainside one. You're on a boat or whatever. So that stuff. At least there's a bit of variation in that. It does take some time to get, you know, repeats of the environments, which is nice. You give me some food, okay? Oh boy, I got loads of food, but I haven't really not got any gold. I think this might be the last. Oh yeah, this might be the last floor in this dungeon, but I don't know. Draw 2 monster cards. Okay, 2 of scales, 2 of skulls. I've still not completely discerned what all these types actually are, like scales and skulls. Like you can kind of figure out, you know. Skulls is obviously skeletons, scales appears to be these sort of reptile things. So. Those reptiles are annoying. That one wasn't much of a problem, but the animation looks ridiculous. They do those attacks that you can't block, and then they also tend to block a lot themselves. Okay, nice. If I'm right, this next card. Oh, well, this next card should be the boss. Oh. While searching the area for nearby anything worth salvaging, you realise that one of your opponents is pretending to be dead. Oh boy. Taken by surprise, you are knocked to the ground. When you recover, you find yourself alone with the dead. Fuck's sake. Okay, Jack of Plagues. Faster and stronger than normal Ratman, this beast inspires all vermin around him to strike faster, the more damage he sustains. Okay. So normally, like I said, I don't think I'll get anything for this because I've already beaten it, so I'm just like replaying it or whatever. But if this was the first time you do it, when you defeat the boss, you get a bunch of permanent loot. I think you also get like permanent loot in the form of cards. It always like for every encounter you've effectively solved or completed or whatever you want to call it. So I'm gonna die if I keep this up. So. Ah! Oh, god damn it! Oh! No! Oh wow! I had 2 fucking HP there. Oh. Okay, nice.
The queens and kings of the rat kind have lost the child here today.
Okay, so normally, like I said, I get a reward for that, but oh, we might actually get something here for return. Okay, so I hadn't actually completed the quest where you have to deliver that guy's gear or whatever. So because I did that, I will get Warcry, which I'm not. It doesn't actually say that in, but and for Surviving Desert Storm, again, I hadn't done that before. I get lost in the desert, which I think that's another account actually.
I do not want to just sit here. Look at the cards you have earned. Now we have enough to begin a real game. I'm beginning to admire your methods, brutal as they are. I would have done things differently.
Also, every 4th one you complete, or every 3rd one, I guess, you get one of these upgrades that will upgrade all of these. They'll make everything harder, but they'll also, like I said, you know, you get buffs, start with more food, better gear. That's the first one I got. So there certainly seems to be a lot to it. I don't know if it's just the sort of 12 or 16. I think it's 16. I think they count as the encounters, or if there's another page, or if it keeps on going or what. But either way, there is a lot to this game. It's pretty deep. You know, final verdict is really just that the combat is clunky and like middling at best, but it's not bad enough to ruin everything else. I think it's a bit unfortunate that the combat kind of lets down the other parts, but as I mentioned, I do think that the everything besides the combat is so well done. The presentation, the card stuff, the RPG stuff, that it's quite easy to just ignore how sort of janky the combat is because that stuff is so good. So you know, this is Hand of Fate. I think it's really cool. I think it's worth checking out. It was Kickstarted, like I said. Check out that Kickstarter if you're interested. I think it fairly recently met that goal, only a year plus ago. It's on Steam now for, I want to say it's about $15 or about, he's being rude, please don't rude, or £11 on Steam, I believe. It's cool, it's interesting, it's definitely interesting, it's worth checking out. This will definitely be one to watch towards the end of the year with the Game of the Year stuff, because I think it's really cool, and I think a lot of people seem to like it. So yeah, check it out, Hand of Fate.